Welcome back. While in Iowa at the State Fair, I had the chance to talk to 2020 hopeful John Delaney. Take a look at that. So a lot of people noticed you, really, I think, in a big way for the first time at the last debate. They saw your passionate, aggressive argument, really, for reasonableness and moderation and being pragmatic.
Yes.
And yet it seems that it's not what the Democratic Party is looking for. What I'm interested in is, why do you think it is that it's almost as if reasonableness is disqualifying for today's Democratic Party?
Listen, I think we're in the middle of a social media primary right now, where kind of what I call kind of extreme views is what's dominating.
Right.
My bet is that that's going to temper, as it always do. Every day, more Americans tune in. More people who don't pay attention to politics all the time and are raising their families or working hard or doing all those things. As they tune in, they tend to be more problem-solving, let's get things done kind of folks. So my view is the electorate grows in my favor with each passing day.
Right, but they want you to, I mean, you heard it here today now, they want you to use the extreme language against the president and be extreme in all your views. Is that not a tempting thing for you to do, just to kind of make some progress?
I think you always have to look yourself in the mirror and stay true to yourself. And the one thing I'm proud of is everything I've said on this campaign, I believe.
So at the moment, when you look at the race, it seems to me some of the commentators are saying, well, it's Joe Biden. He's the moderate one. He's the do you think he is, and why?
I think he is.
If he is, why don't you get behind him?
Because I don't think he's got new ideas. I actually think we need new ideas. And I have new ideas. I have a better way to fix healthcare than he does. I have a better way to address climate change than he does. I have a better way, I think, to help make sure jobs are getting created in every community. You know, last year, Stephen, I know you know this stuff, 80% of the venture capital in the United States was invested in 50 counties out of 3,100. So this is no longer a nation of opportunity. It's kind of a nation of birthright. I have real policies to change the flow of capital so we create opportunities for young people. Because opportunity and inequality is really one of the big issues in this country. So I just think I have new ideas as to how to address these problems that are different and distinct and better than the vice president's. I think a lot of our tone is similar.
Right.
But ideas matter.
All right, so finally then...
Who was it? Victor Hugo said there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come.
So finally, in a spirit of reasonableness, is there something about what the president has done in the last few years that you would say, yep, that's good, and I'd sort of keep that going?
So I think having conversations with North Korea was not a terrible idea. Right. I know he was criticized for meeting with them. You know, you got to meet with your enemies. That's the whole point of diplomacy. So I have probably been the least critical Democrat of what he's done with respect to North Korea. Now I worry he's going to cut a bad deal because he's going to want to end the Korean War, which I don't think he knew even hadn't ended yet, and maybe would cut a bad deal to do that. But I'm very constructive on what he's done there.
So, a bit like your white dress, white outfit comment. I just watching that. I just kept thinking of this comment from Gore Vidal over the Falklands War. He described it as two bald men fighting over a comb. And watching the two of us there, I just kept going through my mind. Anyway, substantively,
very distinguished.
There you are. Very good. Substantively, John Delaney, what do we think?
Well, you know, I find it amusing when Democrats who have helped destroy the economy, whose ideas are about giving away money to everyone to get votes, are criticizing or concerned about Donald Trump making a bad deal. I find that absurd. I think the president probably does as well. But at least, though, he is someone who, unlike other candidates, has not used a pejorative to describe the president, that he doesn't seem to, he's resisting, even though there was a lot of pressure at the fair for him to call the president a name. He wouldn't do it.
I saw that. It was, by the way, very striking. Literally, the press, like a pack of wolves, saying, say it. Why won't you say it? He's a white supremacist. Why won't you say it? It was amazing.
And I think that's a laudable thing, that he resisted that. It's a hard pressure to have to deal with, but this is the pressure those candidates are facing to fit within that extremist narrative that you see on social media. And we know a New York Times poll found, and research found, that the average Democrat is not on social media. That, in fact, it's America you have to appeal to.
Oh.
And the media is doing no one a favor.
You were
here.
saying this earlier. We did a great podcast taping earlier.
We did the loudest voices on Twitter. Number one, only 2% of all Americans are even on Twitter.
That's right.
And we have this idea that the loudest voices on Twitter represent the thoughts and hopes of real Americans, and they just do not. And Delaney and I talked to Tim Ryan, these people kind of represent what Democrats used to be.
Yeah.
Not to say that the ideas are good, because they're still awful, but they're a little less extreme.
At least they're not this loony left.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about John Delaney. I did.
It's better than saying something negative. Okay,
Yeah. So you know what? I'll just
leave
never
it at
mind.
that. Very
Yeah,
nice.
I'll let that.
That's always helpful to have a bit more